Hi, a very good afternoon to everyone who joined this meeting.
Hi.
Hi.
It's nice to have a meeting with you in this fabulous afternoon. Today, I will be your moderator in this talk. So let me introduce myself first, then it's your turns. So first and foremost, my name is Leslie Ting Yi, and you can call me Leslie for this talk, and I hope you are doing well today. So now, I would like to introduce our special guest today. First comes Salwa.
Hi everyone, my name is Salwa Binti Khairo. I'm so honored to be here as a special guest.
Then here comes Xin Yi.
Hi, my name is Xin Yi. I'm so grateful to be invited in here today.
Okay, so now everyone, please listen to me. Please lend your ears to me. I got an incredible news that I can't wait to tell you all. So as you know, lately the cases about or regarding the COVID-19 in Malaysia have decreased gradually. It means that we might have our freedom to go outing without any restrictions and maximum.
What a nice news to be heard.
What a coincidence! I just checked it just now.
Wow, that's insane. But have you ever heard of obesity? Although the cases are decreasing, but the amount of obese is increasing at the same time out of the blue. So for your information, according to Chris Gunners, obesity is one of the biggest and the most well-known health problems in the world. And everyone might have the chance to be the next victim of being obese. Therefore, today we are going to talk about obesity. So now I would like you to explain more about this issue. So first, Xin Yi, may you tell us more about this issue in the world? Can you please tell us slowly and more detail?
Sure, at the beginning, I thought that it's only touched the development countries like the USA. But after some shifts, I learned that the developing countries are also touches. This phenomenon is on the increase and worrying, and authorities in development countries makes these issues of paramount important.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's it. How about Sawa?
in developed countries, the obesity is linked to the consumer society. In these countries, there are a lot of fast food restaurants like McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Subway, Burger King, which propose junk food like fried chicken, hamburgers, and fries. This junk food makes people fat. People know it's unhealthy, but they have no other choice but to eat them because they don't have the time to prepare a healthy meal themselves. They also don't have enough money to buy healthy food. The obesity is increased by the fact that less and less people place parks.
Oh, I see. It is such a weird habit that because we all know that junk food is unhealthy to our body, but we keep buying and consuming this kind of food, right? So I think we better do some change in it. So in order to prevent obesity. So yes, besides that, in my opinion, in developing countries, the obesity is due to the same reasons, but also to the ignorance. Indeed, people who come from countryside go to the city to find better living conditions and a job. But these people, they start and begin to eat junk foods because they don't know it is bad, unhealthy, and it is unessential to our health. So if they continue this kind of consume, they will become fat. So at the top of that, they don't have any sport culture. Therefore, the obesity is increased by the fact that the fast food companies who take an opportunity and install more and more fast food restaurants in these countries, like KFC, McDonald's, In-N-Out, and all the fast food companies in Malaysia. So can you
Oh,
please tell us more about obesity, Xingyi?
obesity is not a clothes crisis, it's a health crisis.
Yes.
Obese people are at a much higher risk of for diabetes and heart disease, and this can cost them their lives and cost the country billions. I recently heard from two girls who weigh over 240 pounds. One said her dad called her heavy, and this hurt her feelings. The other said had never had a boyfriend because of weight.
Wow, that is what a shame because the boyfriend just blamed on her because due to his weight. Okay, so how about you, Salwa?
Obesity continues to grow in epidemic proportions. However, a change in lifestyle could help the population, and this serves a long-term motivation of our work.
Yes, we should take this sentence, which is a change in lifestyle could help the population to our motto because obesity is a must prevent and treat the health problems in our world. So therefore, I personally and totally agree with you all. Your statement just got the point. And for me, obesity is a medical condition in which excess fat has accumulated in the body that it may influence our health. This issue is very dangerous because it's hazardous and it is unhealthy and it is unessential to people's health. So we, as a Malaysian, we all should take the accountability and responsibility to pay attention to obesity since our Malaysia is still struggling with this kind of case lately. Okay, so over the past decades, there are so much research has focused on the causes of obesity and how it could be prevented or treated. First and foremost, do you know what are the leading causes to obesity? Sawa?
From my standpoint, food addiction is one of the most leading causes to obesity. Food is essential to human survival and is an important aspect of our wellness. In addiction, in addition to a means of pleasure and enjoyment, food is not only to provide needs to sustenance, it also adds a gratification factor through various taste, smell, and texture. However, for many individuals, food addiction can be as serious as drug or to the substance abuser. For men and women suffering from addiction to food, highly palatable foods which are often rich like fat, sugar, and salt will trigger chemical reaction in the brain and that induce feeling of pleasure and satisfaction. This reaction has been explained as comparable to an addict's response to their substance of choice, as it activates the same brain reward center. Food addicts become dependent upon the good feeling that obtained from consuming certain food, which often perpetuates a continued need to eat even when not hungry. This behavior generates a vicious cycle as the food addicts continue to gorge upon foods that induce pleasurable feelings. They often overindulge and eat beyond what is required to its satiety and normal nutrition. This also can
Oh,
lead to several physical, emotion, and social consequences such as obesity, depression, and heart disease. A food addict will often re-engage in the destructive behavior, even amidst undesired consequences due to the need of induced feeling of pleasure. For childhood obesity, I think that the biggest contributor is aggressive marketing. The childhood obesity epidemic is a serious public health problem that increased morbidity, mortality, and has substantial long-term long-term economic and social costs. Obesity in children increases the more hours they watch television. Children's exposure to TV ads for unhealthy food products like high calorie, low nutrition snack, fast food, and sweetened drinks are a significant risk factor for obesity. In very young children, research has found that For every 1 hour increase in TV viewing per day, there are higher intakes of sugar-sweetened beverages, fast food, processed meat, and overall calories was for 48.7 kilocalorie per day. Excess weight can be
Wow.
gained by the addition of only 150 calories a day. Other research has found that children who watch more than 3 hours of television a day are 50% more likely to be obese than children who watch fewer than 2 hours. Food and beverages advertisement target at children influences their product preference, request, and diet. The food and beverages industry has resolved the self-regulates their marketing to children, but this has not resulted in significant improvement in marketing of healthier food like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, low-fat or non-fat milk, dairy products, fish and beans to children. Almost three out of four foods advertised to children falls into the unhealthy categories that contribute to the obesity epidemic. Foods ad, Food ads on the television make up 50% of all the ad time on children's shows. These ads are almost completely dominated by unhealthy food products, 34% for candy and snacks, 28% for cereal, 10% for fast food, 4% for dairy products, 1% for fruit juice, and 0% of fruits or vegetables. Children are rarely exposed to public service announcements and advertising for healthier foods. How about you, Zingy?
Wow, it hurt. Food addiction is a very dangerous causes of obesity. In
Yes.
general, food availability is also a causes of obesity. When we eating large amount of processed or fast food that had impact fat and sugar. Besides drinking too much alcohol contains a lot of calories and people who drink heavily are often overweight. So we must decrease drinking alcohol. Last but uh, next, eating too much when we out. We will be tempted to also have a dessert or dessert in a restaurant and the food can be higher in fat and sugar.
Okay. So someone just now just said that food addiction and aggressive marketing is one of the causes of obesity, right?
Yes. Um,
Okay. So in my opinion, your statements are definitely right because in our generation, there are a lot of food producers spend a lot of money marketing junk food, sometimes specifically targeting children, and sometimes it is for adults as well, and who don't have the knowledge and experience to realize they are being misled. So I think aggressive marketing and food addiction are the one of the causes of obesity. And just now, we have said that food availability is one of the causes of obesity, right?
Yes.
And how about misinformation?
Sorry,
Do you
can
have, okay, it's okay. Do you have anything to add on, Sawa?
I got one thing that need to add on, which is insulin. Insulin is a very important hormone that regulates energy storage among other things. One of the functions is to tell the fat cell to store fat and to hold on to the fat they are already carried. The Western diet promotes insulin resistance in many overweight and obese individuals. This elevates insulin levels all over the body, causing energy to get stored in fat cells instead of being available for use.
Wow.
Why insulin's role in obesity is controversial. Several studies suggest that high insulin levels have a causal role in the development of obesity. One of the best way to lower your insulin is to cut back on simple or refined carbohydrates while increasing fiber intake. This usually leads to an automatic reduction in calorie intake and effortless weight loss. No calorie counting or portion control needed. So, what I want to tell here is high insulin levels and insulin resistance are linked to the development of obesity. To lower insulin level, reduce your intake of refined carbs and eat more fiber.
Wow, I have never heard that insulin is one of the causes of obesity. So, from your point, does it mean that high insulin levels and insulin resistance are linked to the development of obesity?
Yes, they are linked together.
Wow, it is such a fresh. It is fresh to me, and I heard that medications is one of the main leading causes to obesity, right, Xin Yi?
Yes, you're right. In some people, obesity can be traced to a medical cause, such as Prader-Willi syndrome, Cushing syndrome, and other conditions. Medical problems such as arthritis also can lead to decreased activity, which may result in weight gain. I advise that some medication can lead to weight gain if you don't compensate through diet or activity. This medication includes some antidepressant, anti-synchronous medication, diabetes medication, anti-physiology medication, therapy, and beta blockers. Yes,
Wow.
it's all for me about medication.
Wow, I think there are other examples which is include diabetes medication and antipsychotics, right? So in summary, there are some medications may promote weight gain by reducing the number of calories burned or increasing appetite. So for me, in my opinion, genetics is definitely one of the leading causes of obesity. As you know, obesity actually has a strong genetic component. Like children of obese parents are much more likely to become obese than children of lean or some which is not their born parents. And that doesn't mean that obesity is completely predetermined. What you eat can have a major effect on which genes are expressed and which are not expressed. And in our generation, there are some non-industrialized societies rapidly become obese when they start eating a typical Western diet, and their genes didn't change, but the environment and the signals they send to the genes actually did change. So simply, the genetic components do affect our susceptibility to gaining weight. There are a lot of studies that identical twins that actually demonstrate this very well. So we better think about it. Besides that, I think engineered junk food is one of the causes of obesity because um, heavily processed foods are often little more than refined ingredients mixed with additives. And these products are designed to be cheap, last long on the shelf, and taste so incredibly good that they are hard to resist. Neither me too, because I will not resist this kind of food as well. Okay, by making foods as tasty as possible, the food manufacturers are trying to increase sales, but they don't know they are also promoting overeating as well. So most processed foods today don't resemble whole foods at all. These are highly engineered products designed to get people hooked, and at the end, the people will get obesity. Wow, I got so much new information about the causes of obesity.
Yes, me
But
too.
yes, but what if we don't deal with it, or we just keep ignoring the facts about the obesity? I think we may face or encounter a lot of consequences, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so
yes.
now, Singhi and Sawa, can you please explain the consequences of obesity?
First, according to my way of thinking, obesity may lead to cardiovascular disease, Cardiovascular disease are a group of disorder of the heart and blood vessels. An estimate 17.9 million people died from cardiovascular disease in 2019, respecting 32% of all global deaths. Of these deaths, 85% were due to heart attack, stroke, and obesity. Studies that have examined the relationship between cardiovascular outcomes have also confirmed that cardio obesity serves as a clear health hazard. Imaging study has shown that a frequent pattern of vascular obesity is higher liver fat accumulation, so we must decrease eating too many junk foods and food unhealthy.
Okay.
Overall, excess liver fat has generally been associated with the same alteration in cardiovascular risk factors as vascular obesity. How about you? How about your opinion, Salwa?
In general, being overweight or obese increases the chance of developing the common type of diabetes, which is type 2 diabetes. In this disease, the body makes enough insulin, but the cell in the body have become resistant to the salutary action of insulin. Science propose that being overweight stresses the inside of individual cells. Specifically, overreacting stresses the membranous network inside of cells called endoplasmic reticulum (ER), which when the ER has more nutrients to process than it can handle. It, it sends out an alarm signal telling the cell to dampen down the insulin receptor on the cell surface. This translates to insulin resistant and persistent high concentration. I'm sorry. This translates to insulin resistant and to persistent high concentration of the sugar glucose in the blood. With type 2 diabetes, your body doesn't use insulin well and can keep blood sugar at normal levels. About 90 to 95% of people with diabetes have type 2. It develops over many years and is usually diagnosed in adults, but more and more in children, teens, and young adults. You may not notice any symptoms, so it's important to get your blood sugar test if you are at risk. Type 2 diabetes can be prevented or delayed with healthy lifestyle change, such as losing weight, eating healthy food, and being active.
Wow. So, and I must admit that cardiovascular diseases and diabetes are the consequences of being obese. Um, do you ever heard of arteriosclerosis and arteriosclerosis? It is
No,
such a
I
difficult
haven't.
biological term. Okay, so now I will explain it to you. Actually, in biology, cardiovascular disease it have two types, which are atherosclerosis and arteriosclerosis. And actually, atherosclerosis is the early stage of arteriosclerosis. Okay, so the formation of arteriosclerosis is actually the formation of deposition of plaques, plaques, plaques on the inner walls of our blood arteries. And the plaque consists of cholesterol, fats, fibrous connective tissue, dead muscle tissues, and the clumps of platelets in our blood. And in the formation of atherosclerosis, the plaques it will clog or it will stuck or stick the lumen of the blood vessels. It will narrow the lumen, and then it is how the atherosclerosis form. And how about arteriosclerosis? Arteriosclerosis is actually the formation and deposition of plaques on the inner walls of arteries, which is almost the same as the atherosclerosis. And it is said that plaque also consists of calcium, cholesterol, fats, fibrous connective tissue, dead muscle tissues, and clumps of platelets. But something different there is in arteriosclerosis, the heart plates clog the lumen or the plates are hard enough to clog the lumen of blood vessels and narrow the lumen. And the heart plates absorb cause the hardening of arteries and decrease elasticity of arteries. So these two kind of disease, well, it cause the cardiovascular disease. And I acknowledge that point during my biology lessons. But from my point of view, actually obesity can cause hypertension as well. Do you know know about what is hypertension?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have heard that.
Okay, so actually hypertension, or we call it as elevated blood pressure or high blood pressure, is a serious medical condition that significantly increases the risk of our heart, our brain, our kidney, and other disease. And there is a lot of research and studies that an estimated 1.28 billion adults which age between 30 until 79 years old have hypertension. And most are living in low and middle income countries like India, like Vietnam, and so on. And besides, there is an estimated 46% of adults with hypertension they are unaware that they have or they don't know they have the condition. So less than half of adults, which is 42% percentage with the hypertension, they are diagnosed and treated. And in conclusion, approximately 1 in 5 adults with hypertension have it under control. It means that they are diagnosed and treated very well. Therefore, hypertension is a major cause of premature death worldwide. And one of the global targets that we all don't know is they want to reduce the prevalence of hypertension by around 33% between 2010 and 2030. So hypertension, we can call the hypertension as silent killer. Silent killer. You know why? Because most people with hypertension, they are unaware of the problem because it may not have any warning signs or any symptoms. Therefore, they don't know about it. For this reason, it is essential that blood pressure is measured regularly. As long, no matter it is, we check our blood pressure like once a week, twice a week, or once a year, as long as we got our blood pressure to be measured regularly. Okay, so when the symptoms still occur, they can conclude early morning headaches, like nosebleeds, irregular heart rhythms, visual changes, like we can see the things very clear, and also buzzing in the ears, like some strange voice that are buzzing in our ears and we will be not comfortable. And severe hypertension can cause fatigue, nausea, vomiting, confusion, anxiety, chest pain, and muscle tremors. So the one and only way to detect hypertension is to have a health professional measure blood pressure. So having blood pressure measured is very quick and it is painless and sometimes it is free. And although individuals can measure their own blood pressure using automated devices at home, there is an evaluation by a health professional is important for assessment of risks and associated conditions. So, oh my God, what a terrible consequences we might face if we don't deal with obesity sincerely, like cardiovascular diseases, which is stated by the Xin Yi, and diabetes by Salwa. So, as you know, there is a popular quote that prevention is better than cure. Therefore, we should do something in order to cheat the chance of being obese. So now, Xin Yi and Salwa, can you guys please explain more about the way to prevent obesity?
I have an idea that we should improve our relationship with food. a good relationship with food involves having unconditional permission to eat the foods that make you feel good physically and mentally. No food are off limits, and you feel no guilt upon eating foods that are typically labeled good or bad.
Mm.
Having a good relationship with food isn't something you can achieve overnight. Rather, it's something that you will likely to have to work on your entire life. Just as you had worked to on a relationship with your partner, friends, or any other meaningful person in your life. A good relationship with food is like any other relationship. It takes time, practice, and a lot of patience. It's important to understand that your relationship with foods goes deeper than fueling your body. Unlike animals that eat solely for survival, humans eat for a variety of reasons such as joy, pleasure, culture, tradition, socialization, and to fuel their bodies. When you start to appreciate food as more than you just fuel source, you can begin to see value in it and develop a healthier relationship. This is a sign of a good relationship with food. Include you give your self unconditional permission to eat the food you enjoy. You listen and respect your body's natural hunger cues. You eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full. No food are off limit. You don't obsess over the number on the scale. You don't let the opinions of others dictate which food you eat. You don't feel the need to justify your food choices. You understand that you are not defined by the food you eat. You enjoy all food in moderation. You choose food that you make. You feel your best. Calories are not the focus of your food choices. If you are
Right.
looking at this list and thinking, I will never get to this point, you are not alone. Many people struggle with the idea of ditching the diet mentally and pushing away years of the diet culture messages they have been getting since a young age. Instead of focusing on checking off every item on the list, try to approach one at a time and at a pace that suits you. A good relationship with food involves welcoming all food in moderation, eating food that you enjoy, not allowing food to control your life, and knowing that the food you eat do not define your value as a person.
Mm.
So practicing healthy, healthy, healthy eating with your whole family that everyone can enjoy is also the best way to overcome the obesity. First thing is you should let go of perfection. Despite what social media may have you believe, there are no perfect way to eat healthier. This means that your meals doesn't have to be expensive, complicated, time consuming, or picture perfect. Instead, it's important to be realistic and do the best can to help your family make healthy choices. Plus, by taking off the pressure to make a perfect diet, you are more likely to find a healthier way to eating that works for your family. Second, avoid labeling food as off limit. While some ingredients are certainly more nutritious than others, it's important to foster a healthy relationship with food by avoiding a language like bad or off limits. Plus, being a being too restrictive can create stress and tension around meal times. Third, and lastly, eating eating together as a family without distraction has numerous benefits, including encouraging healthier eating habits, promoting bonding, and aiding social and emotional development. Furthermore, study shows that kids of family that eat together tend to eat less fast food and more fruits and vegetables. There are benefits for adults too. One study found that parents who participate in family dinners are higher level self-esteem and lower rates of depression and stress. While it may not realistic to eat together every night, try to make family dinners as a priority as often as you can have. How about you, Zinyi?
Yes, I agree with your point just now, and as my opinion, we have to consume the healthy foods. It's priority for us to do so. We should eat more healthy food such as vegetable, meat, and chicken. This excess food eventually becomes stored as body fat and can lead to obesity. Next, we must encourage our child to eat healthy foods because most of the child does not like eat vegetable, which is not good for the child.
Yes.
Then we must limit unhealthy food in the household. First, we must limit unhealthy food to our children. Most of our children need to like to eat junk foods, as as we know. Then we must encourage them eat more healthy foods to prevent obesity. As we know, obesity is a very dangerous disease.
Yes, it's very dangerous and hazardous to us. Okay, so from my point of view, we should build early relationships and with healthy foods and eat healthy foods as a family in our home. If we do so, a lot of health problems like constipation may be prevented because we eat healthy foods and healthy foods it may consist of calcium, proteins, carbohydrates, fibers, and vitamin C. Like fibers is the most important because it may help us to expel some unhealthy stuff out of our body. And from Xin Yi, yes, just now you just mentioned that we should eat slowly and limit unhealthy foods in the household, right? Yes,
Yes,
I totally agree with you because nowadays there are some parents or some delusional parents that allow their children to eat what they want to eat. They don't even want to control the food the first step the children eat. Like they do not count and they do not like even though they know the food is unhealthy for them, but they keeps providing such food for them. Therefore, I think limit unhealthy foods in household is very important. But I think instead of talking about food, I think we can cope with it by physically change in our daily life, right? Like we can conduct some incorporate fun and exciting physical activity. Like for your information, the World Health Organization (WHO), does it familiar to you?
Yes, yes.
Yes. WHO it recommends that the children or the kids and teens that they should get at least 60 minutes, which is 1 hour of physical activity daily. And there are a lot of fun physical activities such as games, sports, gym, and or some outdoor chores like sweeping the floor or help whatever whatever, as long as it is counted as the outdoor chores, it is recommendable for them to do. By doing this, they may expel the sweat out of their body. As you know, the sweat in our body is actually consists of a lot of unwanted microorganisms, which is harmful and it is poison to our body. Therefore, if they keep doing this, it can keep their body stay healthy and active. At the same time, the exciting physical activities actually may burn down their calorie or their body fat. Therefore, if they keep doing the incorporate fun and exciting physical activity, they may help us to lost our weight and prevent the obesity. Last but not least, the most important one is if we getting enough sleep. Getting enough sleep. We should make sure everyone is getting enough sleep in one day. There are a lot of research suggests that both children and adults who don't get enough sleep, they may end up weighing more, and it will lead to obesity. And healthy sleep habits from the National Sleep Foundation include a sleep schedule, a bedroom, Richard, and a comfortable pillow and mattress. By preparing these kind of items, we may have a better sleep experience. And do you know it? Do you know what is sleeping? This question seems easy, but actually it is difficult to explain. Do you know what sleep about? What
Yes.
sleep is about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, sleep is as essential to our daily needs as food and water or some daily resources we need. Although we may feel that sleep simply rest our although we may feel that sleep is only or it is simply just rest our tired bodies, our brains actually remains active throughout the night, although we are in the state of sleeping. Therefore, sleep actually plays a very critical, a very essential, and very important role in brain as well as physical functioning. Do you know what happens when we sleep?
Yes.
Okay,
No.
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 Our internal body clock. Actually, we have an internal body clock which is called as a circadian clock. CIRCADINA. Circadian clock. It will tells us when we are ready to sleep. There are actually several circadian clocks in the body, which is found in our brain and other organs, and they are triggered by the cues such as daylight, which is when we are feel alert, and darkness, which is we feel drowsy. So, as a conclusion, there are a lot of health problems that actually existing in our worlds, such as obesity, or such as like recently the COVID-19 and so on. So obesity is keep increasing in the whole world, including Malaysia. So as a Malaysian, everyone are everyone is responsible to deal with it, and there is a lot of ways to deal with the obesity. Like just now, you said that build early relationships with healthy foods, eat healthy foods as a family, encourage eating slowly, limiting unhealthy foods in the household, and conduct incorporate fun and exciting physical activity. And the last one, getting enough sleep. And if we do not take it seriously, actually the obesity will cost our life, which it means that it will lead us to some dangerous disease like cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, hypertension, arteriosclerosis, and arteriosclerosis. These kind of diseases are the diseases that we all do not want and do not wish, right? So we should take the obesity sincerely. And there is a lot of causes of obesity, and we should prevent them, such as food addiction, aggressive marketing, misinformation, food availability, insulin, and medications. And we should not exclude genetics, although genetics is is the biological cause. And last but not least, junk foods are the most acceptable causes of obesity. So, as a conclusion, the obesity is a cultural issue. Sorry. The obesity is a cultural issue in whom the standard of living of peoples is a still meaning fact. and it touches more and more the developing countries and has a lot of harmful consequences on health. So I'm so glad and I'm so grateful that I get to talk about this issue with you today. But before that, do remember we should look after and take a very good care to our health because, as you know, prevention is better than cure. If we do not take it seriously, it may cost our life. So please, please, please take a very, very good care to our health. Okay, it's been
Lastly, it's been an honor, an hour that we spent talking to each other here.
I'm sorry, my line is weak just now. So this is my first time being a moderator with you in this talk. So I'm so grateful for your cooperation. Thank you for joining. See you soon. Bye.
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 Have
Have a good day and nice
Have a
to
good
meet
day.
you.
Nice.
So please do remember to take good care to our health. Okay.
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
Weight gain is the sum of little things that add up over time. Choosing the escalator instead of the stairs, eating 2 helpings of dinner, and so on and so on. Ever wonder why you're winded or your joints ache and blame it on your age? Well, think about your weight. Imagine carrying a 10-pound bag everywhere you go. Just 10 pounds adds more than 30 pounds of force to your knees. So those achy knees might mean you need better habits. By realizing you're overweight, and by taking control now, you may lower the risk of developing serious health problems like heart disease, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, gallstones, and some cancers. Losing just 5% of your body weight may also decrease the stress you're putting on your body. That means doing more of the things you enjoy without the aches and pains. It's the little things that make up the weight gain. And it's the little things that will help take it back off. Wouldn't you like to drop the weight and stop picking up more? Obesity happens 1 pound at a time. So does preventing it.